Good day everyone, this is Saima Biruar and I will be the second reporter for the Module 8 and my topic was all about Albert Bandura's social learning theory. So for your information, this social learning theory is the second principle of the new behaviorism. So the first principle was explained by Laila Basir, which is the purposive behaviorism by Tolman. So based sa definition ng theory ni Albert Bandura, which is the social learning theory, according to this theory focuses on the learning that occurs within a social context. So it considers that people learn from one another, including such concepts as observational learning, imitation, and modeling. So yun nga no, kaya tinawag ito ni Albert Bandura na social learning theory. It's because daw tayong mga people o tayong mga tao is we learn from one another through observing them, through imitating them, and through modeling what we observe to that certain person. Sabi nga dito is this called a bridge between behaviorist and cognitive learning because daw is napapalibutan ito ng ating attention, memory, and motivation. Kaya naging bridge siya between the behaviorist and the cognitive learning. So, meaning, hindi lang yung behavior yung nagigain natin dito, but also nagagamit din natin yung ating cognitive learning. So now let's move on to the general principles of social learning theory. First, according dito, people can learn by observing the behavior of others in the outcomes of those behaviors. So yes, tayong mga tao, natututo tayo by observing the behavior of another person. So, tayo is tinitingnan natin kung ano ba yung behavior na yun na meron siya, and then pag nalaman natin yung outcomes niya, kung maganda ba yung outcomes niya, is ginagaya natin, di ba? So yun yung first principle ng social learning theory. So natututo tayo based sa observation natin sa mga tao or sa ating society. Number 2, learning can occur without a change in behavior. So yes, we can still learn by our observation without changing the behavior. Kumbaga, hindi naman porket meron kang natutunan is i-change mo na yung behavior mo. So, nasa sayo na yun kung mag-change ka ba ng behavior or hindi based doon sa natutunan mo. So number 3 is cognition plays a role in learning. So yes, because of our cognitive thinking is natututo tayo. So bakit ba tayo natututo? It's because of our cognitive thinking, di ba? So that's how cognition plays a role in learning. Number 4, the social learning theory can be considered a bridge or a transition between behaviorist learning theories and cognitive learning theories. So kagaya nga ng sabi ko kanina, meaning nito is hindi lang yung behavior yung nakukuha natin dito, but also nagagamit din natin dito yung ating cognitive learning. So how the environment reinforces and punishes modeling. Number 1, the observer is reinforced by the model. For example, a student who changes dress to fit a group of students has a strong likelihood of being accepted and thus reinforced by that group. Ang meaning nito is, yung observers is nakaka-gain siya ng knowledge or ng motivations from that certain person na kanyang inoobserbahan. Kumbaga, kung ano yung ginagawa nung model niya o nung yung inoobserbahan niya, is siya rin ginagawa nung observant. Number 2, the observer is reinforced by a third person. Means the observer is motivated, encouraged, or strengthened by the action or influence of the third person. Like for example, an outstanding class leader or student, the teacher noticed this and compliments and praises the observer for modeling such behavior, thus reinforcing that behavior. Number 3, the imitated behavior itself leads to reinforcing consequences. Means that when you imitate or copies a behavior of someone you observe or you are observing, nakaka-experience ka daw ng positive outcomes or rewards dahil doon, mas lalo kang na-encourage to continue imitating that behavior na na-observe mo sa model mo or sa inoobserbahan mo. So that is number 3. For the number 4, consider the observer's behavior vicariously means that the outcome experienced by the person being observed or the model have an indirect impact on the behavior of the observer. So the observer learns from the model's experiences and adjusts their own behavior based on the observed consequences. Contemporary social learning perspective of reinforcement and punishment. Number 1, contemporary theory proposes that both reinforcement and punishment have indirect effects on learning. They are not the sole or main cause. Number 2, reinforcement and punishments influence the extent to which an individual exhibits a behavior that has been learned. Number 3, the expectation of reinforcement influences cognitive processes that promote learning. Therefore, attention plays a critical role in learning, and attention is influenced by the expectation of reinforcement. Now let's move on to the cognitive factors in social learning. Number 1, the learning without performance. This refers to the idea that individuals can acquire knowledge or skills through observation and cognitive processes without actually demonstrating or performing the learned behavior themselves. Number 2 is the cognitive process during learning. This number 2 is highlights the mental processes involved in acquiring and processing information through observation. This includes the intention, perception, memory, and reasoning. Individuals actively engage their cognitive abilities to understand and make sense of the observed behavior. Number 3 is the expectations. This plays a crucial role in social learning. This means that individuals form expectations about the outcomes and consequences of certain behaviors based on their observations. So these expectations influence their motivation to imitate or avoid certain behaviors. Number 4 is the reciprocal causations. Number 4 suggests that there is a dynamic interaction between an individual's behavior, personal factors, and the environment. Behavior is not solely determined by the external factors, but it is also influenced by the cognitive processes and individual characteristics. So, this reciprocal relationship highlights the complexity of social learning. Number 5 is the modeling. This is the key aspects of the social learning where individuals observe and imitate the behavior of others. So there are two types of models, the live models. So these live models, these are those who demonstrates the behavior in person, and symbolic models which can be fictional characters or representations of behavior through media such as books, movies, or televisions. So, modeling provides a visual representation for individuals to learn from and imitate. So these are the conditions necessary for effective modeling to occur. Number 1 is the attention. Number 1 is the person must first pay attention to the model. So as effective modeling, you have first to pay attention to the model. Number 2 is the retention. Number 2 is the observer must be able to remember the behavior that has been observed. One way of increasing this is using the techniques of rehearsal. Number 3, motor reproduction. The third condition is the ability to replicate the behavior that the model has just demonstrated. Number 4, motivation. The final necessary ingredient for modeling to occur is motivation. So learner must want to demonstrate what they have learned. So effects of modeling on behavior. Number 1, modeling teaches new behavior. So yes, when we observe the model, it teaches us in new behaviors, or we learn or we acquire the new behaviors. Number 2, modeling influences the frequency of previously learned behaviors. 3, modeling may encourage previously forbidden behaviors. Number four, modeling increases the frequency of similar behaviors. For example, a student might see a friend excel in basketball and he tries to excel in football because he is not tall enough for basketball. So that's all of my report. Thank you so much for listening and goodbye.